I know why you're here. You have friends or family that are thinking of moving to Denver, Colorado, and you're wondering, why are people moving to Denver, Colorado? In this video, we're going to go over exactly that, and we're going to get to it right now. What's up everybody, this is Angel and I'm a real estate agent over here in Denver, Colorado, and the first reason why people are moving here, it's because of the mountains. We have year-round activities. If you like the summer activities, you can go hiking, you can go mountain biking, you can climb, go on ATVs, dirt bike, or even just go off-roading. There's something for everybody over here in the mountains in Denver, Colorado. Now, if you like the winter activities, you can go skiing, snowboarding, you can go in a snowmobile, you can go ice fishing, snowshoeing. There's still a lot of winter activities. And if you like the water activities, of course, you can go kayaking, rafting, you can go tubing the Platte River. It's not uncommon to see a lot of people tubing the Platte River. They kind of take their tubes, they take their coolers, they just have a day at the river, they have their drinks, and it's all good. Or you can also go stand-up paddle boarding, which again, it's also very popular here. And I'm gonna tell you, it's nice to change things up. Before I moved to Denver, Colorado, when I was living in Dallas, Texas, basically all I had year-round was cycling. And yes, I became a relatively good cyclist, but I was doing it to stay in shape. At some point, it just wasn't as fun anymore. It was just the same activity year-round. Whereas over here in Denver, Colorado, I can go mountain biking for 5 or 6 months out of the year, and then I can go snowboarding another 6 months. And I think the weather lines up perfectly. Once I kind of start getting tired of the current activity that I'm doing, that's when the weather starts to change, and then I can switch into the winter activity. So that's something that's awesome about living over here in Denver, Colorado. And I know a lot of people, they believe they don't have the opportunity to do all of these mountains activities because they think it's probably expensive to live in the mountains, but actually a lot of people over here in Denver, Colorado, they have private timeshares. And what I mean is literally 4 or 5 friends get together and buy a condo in the mountains, and then they split the time they spend there however they want. Of course, there is an agreement that they all have to agree, they all have to know what the rules are, but it is typically better than going the traditional timeshare route. So it's just another option that you have here once you get to Denver, Colorado. I just want to take a second to say, I'm a real estate agent, and if you're thinking of moving here, reach out for a private one-on-one conversation where we're going to go over what you like and especially what you don't like, so that we can narrow down your search and find you the perfect place. All of the information's in the description below. Now back to the video. Now the second reason why a lot of people moved to Denver, Colorado was because of marijuana. Colorado was the first state that legalized marijuana, and a lot of people came here because of it, and it just kind of kept growing because of it. And I'm gonna tell you a fun fact. Denver actually has more dispensaries than Starbucks locations. So just a fun fact for you guys. Now the third reason why people are moving to Denver, Colorado, it's because of the culture. Denver, Colorado has very young population. It's very vibrant and it's very chill at the time. A lot of people, they're not gonna care what you're doing on your day-to-day life. And the other thing I like about the culture here is the active lifestyle and the healthy living. Colorado is the state with the least amount of obesity. You'll always see people running on the trails, even if it's freezing. You're gonna see people riding their bikes. It's just part of the culture, and it's something that's really cool. And it also promotes healthy living, which I really like. And I think it has to do with the point I made earlier, where we have activities going on year round, and it is just part of the culture. Like, you're gonna go into the mountains, you're gonna do some kind of activity. Also, people just like eating healthy over here. Another reason why people are coming, it's because of their business relocation. There are some major businesses located over here in Denver, Colorado. For one, we have Comcast and Dish Network, and part of the reason why they're here, it's because of the geography. It made a lot of sense to have this telecommunications companies relocate over here to Denver, Colorado. So that's a great thing to have. And also in the aerospace section, we have Lockheed Martin and Raytheon. And it also makes sense to have them here because there's many military bases and there's many places where they can go test their equipment. So there's a lot of engineers that come over here because of that. And now I'm gonna tell you the last one. We actually have located right here in Denver, Colorado, the single worst airline based on official rankings, and it is Frontier. And I'm gonna say, yes, typically the service, it's gonna be very bad. but it is really cheap. So can you really complain? I actually got the cheapest flight of my life. It was Denver to Miami, and I paid $12 for it. Literally, the cost of the Uber to get to the airport was way more expensive than the flight. But yes, flying with Frontier is gonna have their inconveniences, and right now they're really cracking down as to the size of the personal item that you're allowed to bring. So just one thing to note if you're coming over here on Frontier. But the good thing about having them located in Denver, Colorado is that we have cheap domestic flights. So anywhere you're going to go in the US, it's probably going to be a good deal on Frontier. Another reason why people are moving is because of what I call COVID craziness. And of course, we're past COVID now, even officially. But I think a lot of people just realize that they don't really want to live in their state. They prefer going to other places with a little bit more freedom. And the good thing about living over here that close to the mountains is that if things get really bad, then you can jump in an RV and maybe go live in the mountains for 2 or 3 months while things calm down. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but at least for me, it is something that's very important to have an emergency plan. Now let's talk about the weather. A lot of people think that the Denver here in Denver, Colorado is worse than it actually is. And when people do their research, they actually typically come to the conclusion that it's not as bad as they thought. Now, if you enjoy going to concerts, you're going to enjoy Red Rocks in Morrison, Colorado. It is a short drive from Denver, but it is an outdoor amphitheater. It is actually the most attended music venue in the world. It is an incredible experience, and I'll tell you, when artists come here, they're gonna come here and do their 100%. So it's just an awesome experience. If you have a chance, definitely go ahead and do it. Now, if you like outdoor activities like most people who are coming over here to Denver, Colorado, you're gonna love how close we are to many national parks. Of course, we have Rocky Mountain National Park just an hour away. We have the sand dunes. We have the Black Canyon of Gunnison. We have Mesa Verde, and that's just inside of Colorado. And there are many places that are a relatively short drive from Denver, and that's going to include Yellowstone, the Tetons, Mount Rushmore, Arches National Park, Canyonlands, Devil's Tower, Wind Cave, and Badlands. And actually, let me show you exactly where they are on the map. Let's go to the map. This is the national parks map, and Denver is going to be right about here. Now, as I mentioned, we do have Rocky Mountains National Park right there. We have the Great Sand Dunes, Black Canyon of Gunnison, and Mesa Verde. That's going to be inside of Colorado. Now, if you want to venture outside, we're going to have Arches, Canyonlands, Capitol Reef, Bryce Canyon, Zion. That's going to be over here on the Utah side. Now, if you want to go and take a road trip and actually hit some of these canyons, there is a route you can take. You actually take I-70 and then you can cross right there, and you can even get to Las Vegas over here. So you can visit many national parks and end up in a city and then fly back. There's some awesome road trips that you can do once you get here. But anyways, Utah has a lot of national parks as well. We have Arches, Zion, Canyonlands, Bryce Canyon. Now, if we go to the neighbors to the north, we actually have Yellowstone and Grand Teton. And they're going to be relatively far. That's about a 9 to 10 hour drive. And we're not talking about making stops for the kids that they want to go to the bathroom every 20 miles. But they're still within a relatively close distance to Denver, Colorado, especially for a road trip. We also have Devil's Tower. It's going to be around over here. We have Mount Rushmore. It's going to be about over here. They're technically not national parks, but of course, they're big monuments that a lot of people know about. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Angel, you don't even go to these places. Why are you even showing us that? And I'm going to tell you that's not true. Since I moved to Denver, I've actually been to a ton of the national parks in the area. I've been to all of the Colorado national parks in Utah. I'm missing Canyonlands, Capitol Reef, and Bryce Canyon. I even made it to Death Valley after that trip in Las Vegas. To the north side, I've been to Yellowstone and Tetons. I went to Wind Cave and Badlands. So these are things that I've actually been to, and I can give you a lot of tips if you're planning on going there. But when I was living in Dallas, which is right around over here, I actually only went to Big Bend National Park and the Hot Springs, which the Hot Springs isn't really a national park. It's kind of more like a city. But anyways, I love going to these places. And if you need any recommendations, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I'm always happy to help. And that's one of the things that I love about living in this area is that we're actually living in a city, but we have the opportunity of doing a short drive and have these amazing landscapes, these amazing places that people from all over the world come to see. It's just right there in our backyards. Now, another reason why people are moving is because of sports. We actually have all of the major sports. We have football, hockey, baseball, basketball, and soccer. And the thing I love about living in Denver, Colorado is that out of all of these teams, the only one that don't play in downtown, it's going to be the Colorado Rapids. And that's a soccer team. Because all the other teams play in downtown, you can actually get to take the light rail there. You don't have to worry about having a designated driver. You don't have to worry about traffic when you're leaving the stadium. You don't have to leave the game early because you want to get to your car as soon as possible so that you can leave and not be stuck in traffic. This is one of the best things about living here. And I can tell you, when I was living in Dallas and the stadiums were literally like 25 miles from downtown, you always had to drive. There's no public transportation. You had to have a designated driver. It was always a huge pain to leave the stadium. When I went to my first game over here, it was complete night and day. It was a completely different experience. It was so much more enjoyable. Of course, every city is different. Your city might be like Denver, but here it's really one of the things I love the most. And the last reason why people are moving to Denver, Colorado is because they can't stand California and they want to make an upgrade. Now, if you live in California and you made it this far in the video, you're kind of proving my point. Now, of course, Denver isn't perfect and there's some things I dislike. That's why I created this video where I go over the 5 biggest things you need to handle if you want to move to Denver, Colorado. Our job with this channel is giving you an honest opinion of what's like living in Denver, Colorado, and actually showing you what these areas look like instead of just reading about it. So right now, hit the subscribe button. We do videos every week, and also leave a comment down below what areas you want to see next. Until next time, see you later.